All right, so here's the deal. If you give me a few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why life is worth living. By which I mean, if you're at the verge of killing yourself right now, please don't. You see, when I was 17 years old, I made a conclusion to myself, and that was, there is no God. And I truly meant it. I walked out of church on the cold Sunday morning with my parents sitting right in front of me, and in my mind, I was never going to come back. And justifiably so, because I didn't understand what I was doing there. I didn't understand why my parents were bringing me there every other Sunday morning, sometimes 3 times in a week, why I had to listen to a preacher whom 80% of the things he's saying I don't believe, because I have no proof for what he's saying. I didn't understand the meaning for my life. I didn't understand the purpose of my life. I didn't understand my entire existence. I didn't understand the role of God in my life. I didn't understand the role of my life to God. I didn't understand nothing. I was in absolute confusion, and I decided to walk out. And after that, I went on a journey to find meaning, a journey to find purpose, a journey to find myself, really. And that journey led me to do some things that I'm not proud of, and some crazy things, trust me, like spending some time on a mountain at a very high altitude at the top of the mountain, almost freezing. In fact, the fact that I'm sitting in front of you right now shouldn't be. I don't understand. I don't even know why I'm still sitting in front of you right now. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be alive. I should be dead. Every single minute that passed on that mountain, me being at the top, every single hour that passed of me being at the top of that mountain, I felt like I was dying. And I should have died. I don't know how I'm still alive right now. I just don't understand it. I should be dead right now, but then I'm alive. And so what I want to do is share with you my conclusion on life and the 3 things that I believe pointed me to find purpose. And these are the same 3 things that I later found out are the exact same things that pointed every other person who found purpose in life to that ultimate discovery. And before you start saying that I don't believe you, there's no purpose for life, I have no meaning in my life, I have nothing else I'm expecting of life, I get it. So chill. I get it. I do get it. And no, you don't get it. All right? You don't get it. That's not the point. That's not the point at all. The point is that life is still expecting something from you. That's why you're still alive. Life is still expecting something from you. And I understand your confusion is justifiable, right? In fact, if you've not gotten to a position in your life where you're totally confused about the whole situation called life, then you don't understand life. Like, if the situation does not confuse you, then you don't understand the situation. That's what I mean. The first thing that leads everybody to the discovery of purpose, at least the first thing that led me to the discovery of mine, is your passion. And by your passion, I mean the things that you hate, the things that you love, the things that drive you, the things that spark up emotion in you. Those are your passions. Whatever bets emotion, whatever creates any form of emotion, really, from within you, that's something that makes you passionate. It's things you don't want to see more of in the world, things you want to see more of in the world that you are not seeing, things you think shouldn't be happening in the world that you feel you can't stop, things that you feel should be happening in the world that are not happening, that you think you can bet them into the world. Those are your passions, right? Those are things that make you passionate. When I was 11 years old, my mom had this little kiosk where she sold raw food stuff. It was quite in an open area. It was really just wood made into table, and she placed the items, displayed the items on the raw food items on the table, and she was selling. And on one of these days, she went to the market to restock, to get some more stuff for the shop, and I was left in charge of the place. Strangely enough, she believed that she thought I should be able to handle that business at age 11. So she left me there all by myself to handle that business. And something happened that day, really, that till this day nobody knows about, but I'm going to tell you right now. So in her absence, I had eaten earlier the day previous, right? And at this point, I was extremely hungry. It was evening, she was not around, she hadn't come back, she was still held up there, and I was extremely hungry. I needed to eat, I couldn't eat anything from the table because, of course, it's raw food. You won't advise me to eat raw food, would you? And funny enough, there was this lady who was selling right beside us, and she was eating. By the evening, she was eating something very delicious. In fact, right now as I'm sitting, I can still perceive the thickness of the aroma of what she was eating. Like I can still feel it going into my nostrils as I speak to you right now. It was so seemingly delicious, right? I may be wrong, but maybe it's because I was hungry. That's why I felt so strongly about the food. But
What?
my eyes trekked to this lady, and because I was hungry, trekked to her food actually, and she looked up at me and she mocked me with her eyes. She opened up her eyes and she was like,
What? What?
trying to mock me, right? And immediately, of course, with that shock, I removed my eyes away from hers. I looked away. But sure enough, a few minutes later, she was still eating. The aroma was so compelling. My eyes trekked back to her, and she did the same thing. She mocked me. At this point, I actually felt like crying. You can imagine being 11 years old and dead hungry. You don't know what you're going to do. You don't know when your next meal is going to be. You don't know when your mom is going to be back. And that's playing out, right? You're seeing food right in front of you, and the adult who is eating the food is mocking you because you have no food and you have no money to buy food. Funny enough, I actually sold quite well that day. That's on a lighter note. I sold quite well. I remember my mom actually came back and I did quite well. Just that until this day, what I'm about to tell you is unknown. I actually sold to somebody and I forgot to collect the money.
What?
I forgot to collect the money. Like literally, the person went and I realized I hadn't collected any money from him. But that's by the way. So when this happened, this lady was eating. The third time my eyes trekked to her food, what happened was she put out her tongue and she mocked me. She was like, and that was the point where I felt like crying, right? That was the point where I made the decision that 3 things were going to happen in my life. Number 1, I never want anybody to pass through that situation I was in. I never want a child to experience that I had. And the second thing is, I actually felt bad for the lady. You can imagine being 11 years old and having this feeling in me. I actually felt really bad for the lady because I thought to myself, could it be that she's ignorant of what she's doing? And that was the source of my pity for her, right? Could it be that she's truly ignorant of what she's doing? Is it that she doesn't actually know what she's doing? And the third decision was that I was going to make sure that I got to a position in my life where I would truly be able to help others, right? I would truly be able to make impact. I would truly be able to live up to the full potential of my person. And that's the decision that I've never gone back on. I've been lost once, twice, many times along the way, but I've never really lost sight on that target except for the time where from the mountain and I almost died. In fact, at that point, I wanted to die. That's why I tell you that I'm sitting in front of you right now should not be. I should be dead. I shouldn't be alive. I should be lifeless. I should not be in this body right now. So if you're going through something in your life, I get it. I understand it. Because I've gone through same, if not worse. I put myself through worse situations, sometimes deliberately. But there's a meaning to life. And so the first thing that I believe you should understand is all your passions, all the things that you've gone through, all the things that have happened to you, so long as they didn't kill you, what they did is succeed in making you stronger. Your passions, your hatred, your experiences, your emotions, they all succeeded to make you into the person you are today. The second thing that point everybody to the discovery of purpose, everybody who ever discovered purpose to that discovery, would be your potentials. The things you have in it, your abilities, the things you're capable of. And many of us trivialize the things we're capable of, right? Many of us trivialize the things we have in it, inside of us. You know, the most destructive story I've ever read pertaining to potential came from a very old book. And in this book, there was a king. The king one day decided he wanted to go on a far journey. And he decided to call 3 of his most trusted servants, to which he gave some allocations of his possessions. To one, he gave 5 bags of gold. To another, he gave 2 bags of gold. And then to the third one, he gave 1 bag of gold. And upon returning from his journey, he probed these servants to find out, what exactly have you done with the gold I gave you, right? What have you done with the investment I made in you? You had no gold, I gave you gold, what did you do with it? He found out that the first servant to whom he gave 5 had doubled it. The second servant to whom he gave 2, not 5, had also doubled it, made it 4. The first made it 10, the second made it 4. And then the last servant to whom he gave only 1 bag of gold had done nothing with it. Now, here was what the king said to this servant of his. He said, take that bag from him. Give it to the one who has 5. The moral of the story, to he who has more shall be given, and from him who has little, even that which he has shall be taken away from him. Now, the ultimate thing I learned from that story is, whatever you don't use, you lose. Quite literally. Whatever you don't use, you lose. So the question would be, what do you have right now that you're yet to actually use? What potentials do you have? What resources do you have right now that you're yet to actually make use of in your life? Use them. Stop complaining, all right? Use them. There's something you have. There's a potential within you, your ability to speak. To he who has much, more shall be given. From he who has little, even that which he has shall be taken away from him. So use what you have. The third thing that points every individual to the discovery of purpose will be the product that you become. What all your situations, all your experiences, all your challenges have taught you as lessons. Those are the pointers to your life's purpose. I saw a story recently of a man who had 2 sons, and one day an angel appeared to him in a dream and told him that one of his sons, the words of one of his sons were going to be remembered forever. And he was happy. Why? Because one of his sons was actually a poet, a writer, and one was in the army. So he was so happy that his son, who is a writer, the words of that son will be remembered forever. And when he died, he went to heaven. The angel that appeared to him in that dream came to him and told him, you've lived a very great life. You've raised 2 great individuals. You've lived your life doing what's right. You have one wish. Whatever you wish right now, I'm going to grant you before you enter into eternal tranquility, eternal peace, heaven. And here was his wish. He said, I lack nothing during my life. I regret nothing. But what I want is to travel into the future and hear the words of my son who became famous, whose words became known amongst all men. I want to travel into the future and I want to hear how people are vamping his word. And the angel held him by the hands. All of a sudden a scene appeared in front of them, and there were people who were saying some strange words. And the man was so excited. He was caught up with excitement and he said, "Oh my, this is so wonderful. Now tell me, which of my son poems is this?" The angel looked at him and laughed, and he said, "This is not a poem from your son who was a poet. Your son who was a poet did very well. He wrote great poems. He had great influence in the society. He did great things. He attended to nobles. He had great connections with nobles, with kings. Kings literally worshipped his presence. But then when he died, his poems died with him. These words are the words of your son who went into the army. And he became a centurion, a great man in the army, great servant. And one day, his servant fell sick. In the process of him trying to find out a way to heal the servant, recover his servant from his sickness, he heard that there was someone within his vicinity who could heal the servant. And he decided to travel a long way to go meet that person who has the cure for his servant. He got to find out that the person he is going to meet is not just a man, he's actually the Son of God. He denounced his faith and acclaimed to the faith of the Messiah, the Son of God. And when he eventually met the Son of God, the mighty healer, the Messiah already knew why he was coming to him. And so he said, "Let's go to your house. I'll go recover your servant of his illness, right?" But the man said, "My Lord, I am not worthy that thou should come under my roof. I am a man subject to authority. I say unto one man, go, and he goeth. I say unto one man, come, and he cometh. Speak the word only, and my servant shall be made whole." And when the Son of God heard that, he said, "I haven't found such faith in the land." Now, those words were actually captured in the Christian Bible. And those were the words that one of the sons of this man was remembered for. These are the words that are still up to date in the Christian Bible. People still read them when they go through that document called the Bible. Now, what's the moral of the story? You are you. You are unique. There is none like you. There is none that has ever been like you. There will be none like you. There can be none like you. You are one of one. You are truly one of one. Your life's path is unique. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Your glory awaits. If you follow your life's path, your glory awaits. Imagine with me that a fish decided it wants to be a monkey, right? And live on land. What will happen? It's going to die. Of course it's going to die. So don't wish to be somebody else. Live your life to the best of your ability. Live your life true to who you become, who you are, your product. You know, when I knew this, I knew peace. And that is, I was not created to do everything. The day I knew that was the day I knew peace. I'm not created to do everything. So I don't have the pressure to do everything. So the product you've become is going to point you. Just look within. Look within. It's going to point you to your ultimate purpose and meaning in life. Remember, it's not about what you're expecting of life. It's actually about what life is expecting from you. So live true to the meaning that is true for your life. Somebody asked, what's the meaning of life? A book actually attempted to answer that question at some point. And I guess the simple answer is quite easy to take in, right? 42. That's the meaning of life. 42. You can only understand what I'm saying if you've read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right? What's the meaning of life? The great meaning of life is 42. So after all these things, what's my conclusion about life? Well, there is good energy in the world and there is bad energy in the world. And you either serve one, work for one, or you automatically work for the other. It's either you dedicate your time to doing bad things or you're dedicating your time to doing good things. Vice versa. It's either you dedicate your time to doing good things or you're dedicating your time doing bad things. So, all that to say, either you believe in God and the devil or not, they both believe in you. That's the truth. Believe in God or not, believe in the devil or not, they both believe in you. And my stance is to live my life for good. And trust me, that's the only way you find meaning and purpose in life. Now, if you need an extensive guide on how to do this, to find meaning and purpose in life, I actually made a video some days back, and it's an extract from my 14 rules for living meaning. And in that video, I shared 3 of those rules, and I believe that's going to be greatly helpful for you. So I'm going to leave it in the link in the description below. The first link in the description below will be the link to that video, so go check that out. Wait. So we have a goal, and our goal this year is to hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube, because we believe that a world in which people live purposefully is a better world for all. A world in which people live purposefully is better than a world in which people do not live purposefully. And if you want to help us hit that goal, if you want to help this vision, one way you can do that right now is quite free and quite easy. Simple. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and if you have some other friends that you believe this will be helpful to, why not share this content to reach them? And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Live a purposeful life. And as always, I'm watching from a distance and I believe in you. All right, I believe in you.